Okay, let's just dive right in. You know that feeling, right? It's the start of a new year. You've got all this energy. You're excited about the new content calendar, the fresh campaigns, all the shiny new things you're going to build.
And yet that excitement can be, well, a little bit premature. The research we dug into for this really confirms a painful truth, which is that most brands don't underperform because they lack new ideas.
Right.
It's because they rush forward and they build these new strategies right on top of old, faulty foundations. They're, unconsciously carrying the same performance leaks from last year into this one.
It's that constant cycle of activity without any real effect. You
Mm.
feel busy, but you're not actually moving forward.
Mm.
So our mission for this deep dive is to interrupt that guessing game.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about trading that chaos of just, nonstop marketing activity for some real measurable clarity.
Mm.
And the tool for that trade is the marketing audit.
Think of it as a mandatory pit stop for your growth engine. This kind of structured review, it's designed to answer the one question you need absolute clarity on for the next year, which is what's truly driving results and what's just creating noise.
And we're going to drill down into figuring out what's actually proven, what's actively draining your time and your budget, and what's just quietly blocking your ability to scale. You really deserve to start the year with a strategy that's based on proof, not just hope.
And what's so fascinating here is how predictable failure really is. I mean, marketing systems don't just break in new and surprising ways. They almost always follow a very specific, repeatable pattern.
So an audit isn't about finding some random error.
Not at all. It's about exposing that pattern so you can finally fix the root cause.
It's like a structural engineer checking a bridge. They know where the stress points are always going to appear.
Yeah.
The sources we looked at pointed to 4 absolute non-negotiables,
Right.
the 4 common breakpoints where campaigns just, well, they predictably fracture.
Let's walk through them because just recognizing these is, I think, half the battle. So number one is the offer.
The actual value exchange.
Exactly, the fundamental exchange.
Right.
If your offer is unclear, if the price feels too high for the value, or if just saying yes is too complicated, the whole campaign is dead before it even starts. All that attention is wasted.
And the second point, that's about what happens after the offer is set, right?
Yeah.
The messaging, I see this one constantly. You'll see content that's interesting, it's funny, it's super engaging.
But it's not decisive.
Not at all. People like it, they comment, they scroll on, but they never take that next step because it's just not obvious what to do. The message was entertaining, but it didn't actually persuade them to do anything.
And that transition from entertainment to action has to be seamless. So the third breakpoint is the channel. A lot of teams confuse visibility with, viability.
Oh yeah, we got 1 million views.
Right. You might be getting tons of traffic from a platform, but if that channel doesn't align with how your audience actually buys things, if it's great for a quick look but terrible for serious consideration, then you've picked the wrong channel for your goal. You're just targeting browsers, not buyers.
Okay, so you've got a decent offer, clear messaging, the right channel, but there's still one more killer, which is the system after interest, that weak follow-through. You've done all the hard work, you've generated interest, someone clicked, they downloaded something, and then, poof, they just vanish.
They vanish because the path forward is confusing. They hit a broken link, the call to action was vague, the nurture sequence they were expecting, it just never
I
arrived.
think it was super generic.
Exactly. Inconsistency just kills their intent. An audit looks at that whole sequence and shows you exactly where the customer fell through the cracks.
So if we're tackling all 4 of those points, the scope of a real marketing audit is obviously way bigger than just like reviewing last year's content.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about reviewing the entire operating system of your marketing. So that means your offers, are they positioned correctly? Your messaging, is the value clear? Your channels, where do the buyers actually come from?
The conversion path?
Your conversion path, your tracking, can you even prove what works? And critically, your time and execution. How sustainable is all of this, really?
I really want to spend a minute on that first one, the offer, because this was maybe the biggest revelation in the research. We're just so hardwired to believe that if something isn't selling, we need more traffic.
Yeah.
We just need more visibility.
And the source material just completely flips that on its head. It does. The core finding is, well, it's brutal, but it's necessary. No amount of strategic genius, no budget increase, no amount of traffic can fix an offer that doesn't fundamentally sell.
So tell me more about that. Why is pushing traffic at a weak offer so damaging?
Because it's an incredibly expensive distraction. If your offer requires constant pushing, heavy discounts, fake urgency, these long drawn-out explanations to get people to buy, The problem isn't visibility. You have an offer problem.
And all you're doing is scaling the disappointment.
Sealing the disappointment, burning through your ad budget, and you're just accelerating churn.
That makes so much sense. So, okay, let's give people some specific things to look for. How do you tell a strong offer from a weak one? What does a strong offer actually look like?
A strong offer creates its own demand. It has its own gravity. It's specific, it's clear, and it usually talks about a huge shift in their outcome, not just a list of features. So a weak offer is like, buy my generic project management tool.
Right.
A strong offer is the tool that cuts your weekly reporting time from 4 hours down to 4 minutes, guaranteed. It solves a problem the audience already feels like deep in their bones.
And the weak offer?
It needs all that pressure we talked about. It relies on gimmicks. It might generate some curiosity, but it just can't turn that into commitment. When you look at your data, the weak offer is the one that only sells when you run a 50% off sale.
Or the one you have to do a 30-minute demo call for, just to explain what it even does.
Exactly. So when you're doing your own audit, you have to find which offer converts without all that external pressure. Which one gets ghosted after the first sign of interest? Which one are you constantly repackaging because it just doesn't land? That tells you where your foundation is cracked.
And you should only be scaling the offers that convert with the least amount of friction.
Precisely. If you have to fight for every single conversion, you're fighting your offer, not the market.
Okay, so if we accept that the offer is everything, where do people go wrong next? This is where they fall right into the trap of vanity metrics.
It's the second deadliest assumption in marketing. Well, people like it, so it must be working. What's so key here is the difference between awareness signals and decision signals.
Explain that.
Engagement, so likes, shares, views, those are crucial awareness signals. They tell you your message got to the right people.
But they don't mean that audience is ready to buy anything.
No, they are absolutely not decision signals. You can have a viral video with 1 million views that generates exactly 0 sales. In that case, you're optimizing for fame, not for revenue. An audit protects you from that delusion.
But wait, I mean, in a world dominated by platforms like TikTok and Instagram, isn't getting those likes and views the whole point? How do you balance getting that awareness without just chasing vanity?
You have to understand the role of each metric in the funnel. Awareness metrics are vital at the very, very top. You need to know if the message is even resonating. But you have to stop judging bottom-of-funnel success by top-of-funnel metrics. The second you ask for an action, a click, a sign-up, you have to shift your focus.
So what are the real decision signals we should be tracking in this audit?
We have to focus entirely on tracked, attributable action. So how many people actually clicked the link to your offer? How many people sent a DM asking about pricing? How many people booked that call? How many people bought? And maybe most importantly, what did they do next? Did they come back? Did they refer someone?
Right. Sometimes the content that really moves the needle, the one that gets the most qualified leads, it's the one that kind of flies under the radar. Doesn't have a ton of likes, but it's quietly converting at 20%.
And that leads us right to this idea of visibility with attribution. If you have visibility without any tracking, you are operating purely on assumption. You're just scattering your effort everywhere.
Give us a quick technical example. What does that look like in practice?
It means every piece of content, every ad, every email has a tracking mechanism, usually a UTM parameter, that connects the specific piece of content on the specific platform to the specific conversion event in your system.
And without that,
you make one of 2 mistakes. Either you spread your effort way too thin across all channels, or you overinvest in the loudest channel, which feels busy but might actually be delivering 0 profitable customers.
stop chasing trends and start building predictably. That seems to be the core message here.
It is. Predictability only comes when you can prove which dollar you spent resulted in which dollar you earned.
Okay, so we've covered fixing the offer, we've covered fixing the metrics, but now we hit the operational side, which the sources call the hidden killers of scale. We talked about how marketing might work for a while, but the minute the business tries to grow, it all just breaks.
It breaks because the system itself isn't scalable. We call these weaknesses time leaks. These are the things that kill scale, where your current performance relies entirely on daily, manual, maximum effort work.
And for a small team trying to scale, this is so relatable. Can you give us a few specific examples of these time leaks?
Sure, think about your follow-up process. Are you relying on one person Just remembering to manually send a personalized email to every new lead. That is a huge time leak. Or content creation. Do you build the entire campaign, the graphics, the emails from scratch every single time you launch something?
That's a massive time leak. But I can see how in a small team, building from scratch might feel faster in the moment than building out a complex automated system.
It's a classic trap, though. You trade 3 hours of planning right now for 20 hours of execution later, and you just repeat that 20 hours over and over again. The audit forces you to look at the compounded cost of that inefficiency.
So it's not just slow content creation.
No, it's relying on 5 different tools that don't talk to each other, so you're manually exporting and importing data just to update a lead status. It's unsustainable, the marketing is working, but it's exhausting the team.
And that's the definition of an unsustainable system.
The goal here is pretty fundamental. The objective for the new year isn't to be busier. It's to build a system that performs consistently and predictably, even when the team isn't in a full sprint. It's about building reliable processes that scale.
So after all this, after we've done this surgical review of our offers, our metrics, our efficiency, what's the ultimate unlock? What do you walk away with?
You walk away with a proof-based strategy. You stop having internal debates based on opinions, and you start executing based on facts. You'll know exactly what to scale, what specific element needs refining, what you have to stop doing right now, what processes you can simplify, and where you absolutely must implement better tracking.
Yeah, it sounds like actually starting the year with real intention. And if we had to boil it down, what's the #1 most common finding from these audits? What's the biggest mistake people realize they're making?
It is almost always misalignment.
Misalignment.
Yeah. That means the offer, the message, and the channel just don't match the audience's commitment level at that moment. So, for example, imagine running really fun, low-commitment content on Instagram Reels to get awareness, but then your call to action is to book a 90-minute technical demo call.
Oof, the friction there must be massive.
It is. The audience is in an entertainment mindset, and you're asking them for a serious time commitment. That misalignment creates confusion, and confusion absolutely kills conversion.
Plan smarter, scale what's proven, and just cut what's draining your team and your budget.
That's the action plan. But you have to remember the ultimate truth here. An audit without implementation is just expensive information. You have to move beyond just critiquing the past and actually act on the clarity you've gained.
Right.
So as you wrap up this deep dive and you look ahead, here's the final thought to consider. What existing high-cost assumption are you still building your strategy on about your offer, your channel, or your metrics that needs to be challenged, audited, and proven first? That is the most critical starting point for real scalable growth.